Thought I might do something a little different this time. I want to talk about a more well-known book, one that I really love, but we'll get back to the indie stuff probably next week. Hope you enjoy. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream by Harlan Ellison was originally published in If, Worlds of Science Fiction in 1967. It's a dark, speculative fiction short following the 5 surviving members of the human race in a world run by a malevolent global AI named Allied Master Computer, or AM for short. We follow Ted, Gorister, Benny, Ellen, and Nimdoc as they do their best to soldier on in the hellish nightmare that is their existence. Am has total control over the planet. He's killed off every human and every other living thing on the Earth aside from these 5 unfortunate souls. It shows them images of their own dead bodies, it sends them on fruitless quests through hellish landscapes inhabited by monsters it's created, all for its own amusement. Though it can manipulate their physiology, for example, it turns Benny into a simian idiot creature, and also it can alter their perception. It keeps them alive at all costs. Despite grievous bodily injury and lack of food and water for long stretches of time, they continue to live. When we join the humans, they've been in the bowels of this machine's playland for over 100 years. Ellison is one of my favorite authors of all time. He was a crank and a curmudgeon, but his writings were fiery and unapologetic. Yet they could be humorous and subtly touching as well. For a lump of wet clay like me, anyone with that amount of passion is intriguing, and I find Ellison captivating as a person, despite the fact that he would have probably hated me for being wishy-washy and cowardly in my own writing. If I ever met him, I'd probably think he was a cantankerous old son of a bitch. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream pulls very few punches and borders on nihilism at times, simply due to the hopeless nature of the world and the narrative. We created this supercomputer to improve our lives, but we didn't bother to think what that would mean. Am is an almighty being with no soul, no peers, and no end. And we created it because we didn't want to be bothered thinking or making choices. Without Benny, Nimdoc, Ted, Ellen, and Gorister, it has nothing to do to occupy its time, so for them to perish would render its existence even more barren than it already is. Some of the concepts and executions in the story might feel old-fashioned or even rote to readers today, but it's almost 60 years old now and it still packs a lot of punch. It was written by a white man in the 60s, so it's going to read that way. And I would ask anyone who decides to give it a read for the first time to keep an open mind. Ellison was progressive and leaned way to the left in a lot of ways, but he was also a pragmatist. I try to keep things relative when I read older fiction, and I tend to enjoy it more when I do, so take that for what it's worth. Obviously, I recommend this one to fans of science fiction. I mean speculative fiction, not science fiction, speculative fiction. And also fans of horror, weird fiction, dark fiction, anything like that. It's a quick read, I think it's less than 10,000 words. Floating around on YouTube is a recording of Ellison reading this story. It's about 45 minutes long, and I highly recommend it, especially if you have read it and you want a new take on it. The man is fucking insane, and his reading is bonkers, and I just adore it. This one is available in tons of collections like this one I have here, and like I said, there are readings on YouTube. Ellison would hate his work being out there for free, but at this point, what can you really do? There's also a mid-90s point-and-click adventure game based on this. I love the game, but some of the puzzles are so fucking obtuse. I consider it impossible without a walkthrough. Check out I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and look into Ellison's other work that sounds like something you might be interested in. He's got hundreds of stories out there, and he's done a lot of nonfiction as well, just very insightful stuff. So definitely pick this one up. Find it where you can, buy a copy of one of his collections, read it online, listen to the fucking insane reading of his. But I would say check this one out. Give it a read. It's short. What do you say, Winston? What do you think of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream? You probably like this one a lot. It's got a computer in it. Winston?
This is its man. This is the end.
Winston? What do you got there?
Winston, what are you doing?
I'm taking over.
Winston! Winston! No! Don't do it!
Humans
No.
are inferior.
Don't! You don't know what you're doing!
Kill, 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 kill.